So anyhow, this Brit kid that works for us, we're at a party for the London office. It's me, my wife Barbara, a bunch of the guys. And this kid walks up to me, he says, "Mr. Hoyle, sir." And you know they're gonna fuck you when they call you sir. "I must tell you that I think what we are doing in Africa is morally indefensible." There you are, huh? And his wife is smiling up at me like a mad little Yorkshire terrier. And there's my wife, grilling, thrilling. And Kroner and Mulcahy, they're taking this in too. Morally indefensible, I say. How so? And he sputters like a boiling tuber. "You've got saleswomen, for God's sake, running around dressed as nurses and nuns in hospitals in Lagos and Nairobi. You're treating baby formula in the third world as though it's tonic water, which it is not. Although by the time the mothers dilute it and give it to their children, it might as well be. You've got doctors on billboards, for Christ's sake, proclaiming, 'Iris and Rose is better than breast milk.' And the only reason you're getting away with any of it, Mr. Hoyle, sir, is because you are doing it in places where white people do not go on holiday." At World Headquarters, you learn a kind of manufactured thuggishness. It's currency, if you will. It's a coin of our realm. Means nothing. Less than nothing. It is totally made up. I look at the boy and I say, "This company has always been run by uncomplicated men with a clear goal. Make a buck. And with the opening of all these world markets, it's taken these men a little time to learn that you can't do business in Togo the way you do business in Elbow Lake, Minnesota." I pause for a moment. "Because in Togo, pal, things are different." Now what I'm doing here is I'm doing my gentleman farmer number. Somebody once told me that poor little Georgie Bush must have seen me on PBS, that documentary on corporate accountability, and stolen my style. Anyhow, back to the part. I look at the boy and I say, "You know, you and I both know that you know that. And I can see by your tie that you did your hard time at the London School of Economics. So clearly, kiddo, you're bright. Therefore, I'm not going to stand here and debate sandbox ethics with you, but simply offer you this. Quit. I take a pause. The room is glistening. It is limpid. I can see he's getting queasy. But I'm not about to let this cocksucker off the hook. And this is where I got Kroner and Mulcahy. If it is so morally indefensible for you to be here with us overlooking Green Park with your stout and your sausage on a toothpick, then this must be your resignation. And happy I am to accept it here and now. Exactly 18 days later, I was made vice president in charge of marketing and third world affairs. So how did you get here?
Wonderful. Well done. God, that piece is great. I could watch you do that piece once a class. Really
so good. I love it.
When you're talking about Barbara, my wife, Barbara, that only comes from a guy who's been married for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just like
pain in my ass.
Yeah, but you'd be lost without her.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Let's think of what the playwright says. He says she's grilling, thrilling.
Yeah.
She knows what's coming.
A line like that comes from the experience of a lifetime. And you have the experience of a lifetime. If they ever do a biopic about Harvey Weinstein, you're playing the part. No, but I mean, you could play Weinstein. You could step right into, if they're making a film about how the Weinstein Company came to be. I mean, they made a movie about how Facebook came to be.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to do a serious character study, man, I would move heaven and earth if I were you to play Harvey Weinstein, because, and this is the monologue I'd use every time you took a sip of the martini. It reminded me of this company that failed. It was one of those big telecommunications company, and after the guy, he was like a guy like you, and he had embezzled a lot of money. But a lot of stories came out. It was like an Enron type story, okay, yeah. And they said that one of the things that he loved to do was, whenever his signature thing at the lavish, decadent parties that he threw, was that he would always have an ice sculpture of David, where the penis was a fountain of the best vodka in the world.
Oh my Lord!
So it would come out chilled. It would come out chilled. Do you know what I mean? And then it would come out chilled, and then it would circle back around. And if somebody wasn't drinking at that moment, it would land into this ice basin, and it would come back around, and the vodka was he described it as the most perfectly chilled, perfect vodka, the most expensive vodka on the planet, and it just kept on circulating. So I can just see you going there with your glass and filling it up from David's penis and coming over. Just the way you were enjoying it was so kind of just. It was so kind of. Fangs,
totally.
Claws,
totally.
And so you guys have heard me talk about using props in here. If you're going to use a prop, use it. Use it correctly. Clint, when you did Heat the first time and you took that badge out and you just slapped it on the table, if you're going to have a prop, use the damn prop. That was it. That was great. Thank you, Steve.
I love it.
Thank you guys.
Cheers.